What's going on, guys? This is the Red Rogue, and I hope you're all doing lovely today. Speaking of love, it is time for celebration, as the Love is in the Air event will be taking place over the next 2 weeks in the middle of February, so I decided to do a guide on places that you can farm the lovely charm items, which are used to turn into bracelets, which you then trade for tokens, which allow you to buy toys and mounts and other sort of goodies from the Love is in the Air event vendors. So get ready to share your feelings and love and admiration and adoration and empathy and all those other really sappy words that seem to show up whenever love is in the air. Ew. As always, this video is segmented out so you can skim through to each topic at your leisure, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask in a comment, or you can swing by my community Discord too. I also just chit-chat and stuff with other folks in the community on that Discord, so the link to it will be in the description if you just want to stop by and say hi. So, lovely charm bracelets are exchanged for love tokens at the Crown Chemical Company vendor at any major capital city. Try saying that 5 times fast. To make it simple, I'll just explain the 2 major capital locations for these vendors. In Orgrimmar, they're located in the Valley of Strength, right next to the auction house, and for Stormwind, they're in the Trade District, basically right between the auction house and the bank. While there are dailies and event quests and the dungeon you can queue for, you are able to receive 1 love token for every charm bracelet you give them. A charm bracelet takes 10 lovely charms to create. So to collect charms you need to get a lovely charm collector's kit, which the lovely flavor text of has explaining where you have pliers and bone saws and scalpels so you can eviscerate fallen enemies under the guise of creating a symbol of affection, which you will of course be just giving to a vendor or selling to other players, so as always around this time of year, capitalism strikes again. To be clear though, the charm bracelets are tradable, but the charms themselves are not, and you cannot list the bracelets on the auction house because they only exist for the duration of the event, so make sure to turn them all in before the event's over. Anyways, the NPC Qui Q Petalfeet will give you a charm collecting kit if you ask him for one, so you'll need to do this first and foremost. Once you have the charm kit, you can kill most things that give either experience or honor, though I have noticed that some of the more trivial enemies you come across in the world don't drop any, and there is a bit of a weird situation going on with Legion specific content if you're still level 50, which I'll explain in a little bit. A rule of thumb that I found to be true is if it's anything you can skin that's still of the appropriate level, it is definitely able to give love charms. There are of course many things that you can be killing for the sake of lovely charms though, and I'll be breaking up a few sections for various levels of players. This is also not a 100% exhaustive list of all the best locations, as there are probably tons of ones I didn't even figure out, so if you find some other ones then feel free to share them in the comments below if you want. For level 60 characters, there are a number of good spots for farming leather that will also work for farming charms, so if you choose to use one of them, then I recommend picking up skinning so you can maximize your profits and time spent while doing this, even if you just end up selling the leather instead of crafting anything with it. Or better, if you do have a leather worker, then you can just craft and disenchant it, or vendor it, or auction the gear off that you make. Bastion has a couple of pretty good spots that I've stumbled across and researched, and they're all pretty close together. The area between the Temple of Humility and Hero's Rest is quite nice for fast spawning serpent monsters and Larians, especially when the world quest Soaring Over Bastion is active. Even if it isn't active though, I'll show you some decent spots really quick that have fast spawning enemies. One is near this little pond right off the road if you are heading north towards the Spires of Ascension dungeon from the Temple of Humility. This has a number of neutral serpent enemies that will spawn nearly instantly once all of them are dead. There aren't a ton of them there, only like 4, maybe 5 spawns, but it's a very simple and effective method. For a much faster alternative though, if you don't care quite as much about skinning, then I really recommend going to Ardenweald. Sorin's Meadow has a mess load of constantly spawning Fey enemies that are really easy to kill and will drop quite a lot of charms for you. This is definitely one of the best max level options that I've seen and tried so far, so if you don't care about skinning, then this is a great choice. Another thing that I tried and that you can try for yourself is you can do layer 1 of Twisting Corridors, as a lot of the enemies in there will count towards your charm collecting, and depending on the powers your class has or you're lucky enough to get, this can be a very fast way of earning charms too. Honestly though, I really recommend using a level 50 character for farming these, ironically enough. There are a ton of fantastic farming locations in the Legion expansion, and since you're within 5 levels of the content, then you can easily defeat anything there and they give charms, even though their nameplates show up as gray, which is kind of unusual. The best place bar none is on Argus. For those who farmed their Mana Buns achievement, which involved killing thousands and thousands of demons on Argus back in Legion, you'll probably know exactly what spot I'm thinking of. Basically, if you head south of Krokuun Hovel, there are those 2 green demon portals that spawn an infinite supply of squishy level 45 demons. Since you're within 5 levels of them, this infinite chain of kills will count for all those love charms you're searching for, making this as simple as logging on to a level 50 with a spammable AoE move and basically turning your brain off for however long you want to get charms. Yes, it's really that easy, so if you have any level 50s, send them off to Argus. However, if you don't have Argus unlocked on any of your level 50 alts, then don't worry, I have a plan for that too. A great alternative is the Eye of Azshara zone, which is the outdoor version of the dungeon by the same name. Simply fly south from Broken Isle's Dalaran and you'll find a plethora of sea salt droplets. These spawn exceptionally quickly, and apparently they're the same as those types of kids that eat pennies and batteries and whatever because they're chock full of lovely charms for whatever reason. This one would be really fast if it wasn't for having to jump around between groups of enemies, so it's a little bit slower than going to Argus, but it is still extremely fast. Now, for this next bit, I can't confirm exactly what the level cutoff is, as I only have a level 51 to test this, but if your characters are in between BFA and Shadowlands leveling, there should be some great spots to farm charms still. You might need to test these ones on your own just as a forewarning. I almost assume the level cutoff is 55 because that's that 5 level gap, but it might work all the way up till 59, I don't know for certain. The best battle for Azeroth zone I found for farming charms was this one really good leather farming section in Drustvar. This is where the Quillrat Matriarch World Quest and Rare sometimes show up, but if you kill all of the porcupines and lizards there, they will spawn at an exceptionally quick rate. You can also skin them to get a little extra gold on the side, though if I remember right, the crafting and vendor flipping of gear from BFA isn't quite as strong of a moneymaker as it used to be. Even if you don't skin these enemies, they respawn very quickly, resulting in really solid ways to gain charms. The added benefit you have of being a little bit above 50 is that you can also have access to your Covenant ability if you choose to level via the Threads of Fate method. And since you're on Azeroth, you can still make use of your Azerite essences and armor too. Another strong choice in BFA is the Bloodfin Village, which is a Murloc village in the Nazjatar zone. These little suckers respawn pretty fast, and there are a ton of them, so this can make for a really strong choice for farming charms. I'd say this is probably a little bit better than the quill rats and lizards in Drustvar, though I think only just barely. You also don't have to worry about skinning or anything since they're all humanoids, so if you don't want to bother with that, then this is a really great option. Anyways folks, I hope this video gives you a few creative and effective ways for earning those lovely charms, so you can craft them into bracelets, so you can get all your cool toys and mounts and all that stuff from the vendor for Love is in the Air. Or, you know, sell them to other players because capitalism and Valentine's Day were a match made in corporate heaven. Anyways, I hope you folks enjoyed this video, and if so, then please consider leaving a comment, a like, or sharing it with other folks that might find the information helpful, as it's all immensely appreciated and helps a lot with the channel's growth. As always, I just wanted to extend my gratitude to my regular viewers, commenters, subscribers, and especially my patrons, who all help make these Shiba Shenanigans possible. Thank you all so much for watching. This is the Red Rogue, and I'll see you guys around.